we retake our homeworld. And with it, our legacy.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and today I'm here to provide you with my review for StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Now, Legacy of the Void is the final conclusion for StarCraft 2, and I gotta say, it definitely ended on a high note. Now, unlike before, we already had a storyline going over the Terran race and the Zerg. This time around, we're here to primarily focus on the Protoss race, and it was definitely quite an interesting story and a very cinematic feel to it. Now, to give you an idea of what's going on in the storyline is that we could see at the very beginning that the Protoss is about to take over the planet that has been corrupted by the Zerg race. However, a good dear friend of theirs actually made a return and stated that there is this mysterious being from the darkness by the name Amon who is about to set war on the Protoss race. And basically what this Amon creature is able to do is that he actually corrupted the Kala, which means he's able to corrupt the minds of the Protoss race. That's if they are still connected to the Kala with the nerve cords. And the only way to prevent this from happening is to sever the nerve cords, thus being disconnected from the Kala, and of course building up their forces to take Amon down once and for all, and to save the Protoss race. Now, going over the graphics, since StarCraft 2 has been out for quite a long time, there's not a big difference in graphics at all. It's basically been the same as it's been on launch. So overall, the graphics still hold up today. Everything looks great with all the different units, the locations, and set forth. And of course, definitely when the cinematic scenes tend to play, it's almost like you wish they would make a movie by now. But overall, the visual aspect of the game is great and still holds up in 2015. Now, going over the gameplay, if you've been playing StarCraft 2 since the beginning, then the gameplay here should basically be no difference. But for those of you who've never played StarCraft 2, then pretty much it works like this. If you played base building games like maybe Age of Empires or Command & Conquer, then of course getting into StarCraft 2 should basically be an easy task for you, where you build up your bases, your forces by gathering minerals, and of course you start building structures related until what you want to do. In this case, in the story mode, you're going to be limited to only a certain amount of structures, but as you progress through the campaign story mode, you'll be getting access to more and more units and different structures along the way. What's nice is that of course in the campaign, not only do you have the main primary objectives, but you also have a secondary objective in which you can complete, in which you can use the materials that you've gathered from that to upgrade your main battleship, which will grant you other additional abilities in game, such as warping in a pylon that has at least 4 units with it. You're able to slow down time for about 20 seconds, bombard from orbit. All these cool little features that are going to be useful, especially towards the very end content where just all hell breaks loose. Of course, in this game you also have new units for the Terran, Zerg, and Protoss, and some changes to the existing units, and of course you still have the online multiplayer. However, for the online multiplayer, if you're pretty much new to StarCraft 2, your experience with that is going to be a bit different because a lot of people tend to rush you in the very beginning, thus you're not going to have an enjoyable experience. However, if you know how to macro units and buildings, then you should basically be right at home. But overall, the gameplay was still fun as ever, and I definitely enjoyed the Protoss race during this campaign.
His whispers. Fight, Artanis. Do not let Amon consume you. Unending hatred. He has corrupted the Kala. Your nerve cords chain you to his will. They must be removed. Amon.
Now, going over the sound aspect for StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, I gotta say this was no exception because the sound design was absolutely amazing. Now, for me, I love to listen to video game soundtracks, and Legacy of the Void soundtrack was just awesome. I was blown away by the cinematic feels. Just everything that was happening on screen was just perfect, like movie quality aspects. Of course, the cinematic scenes where you have returning cast of characters and the voice actors did a really good job portraying the roles. There's definitely some times where it set an emotional tone, and other times where characters were giving a great speech where you definitely feel for that. Like if you're part of his army, you'll definitely be pumped up, motivated to what's about to happen. But everything in the sound design was just amazing. Now going over the lifespan for Legacy of the Void is definitely high. With new units to be had and new strategies to test out, you're going to find yourself there for an endless amount of hours of fun. However, if you just want to strictly focus on single player aspect, the main storyline took me about 6 to 7 hours playing it on normal. However, you can always bump up the difficulty level to prolong that even more. Of course, if you like achievements, there's plenty of achievements to unlock here with the single player aspect and with the bonus multiplayer if you want to go with that. But overall, there's definitely a lot of good replay value here, and of course if you end up having all 3 games, StarCraft along with the 2 expansions, then you're looking at one extremely long game and just endless hours of enjoyment. But overall the lifespan and replay value is extremely high. Now going over the innovation, was there anything new here? Was this something that we already seen before? Well, this is pretty much a continuation for the main installment, so I can't say there's a big innovation with so many different changes, but what you can notice is that they made some changes to some existing units, and of course they added new units for all 3 races for everyone to test out and have fun with, and of course to have a campaign focus on the Protoss race to kind of see what's going on their side, and now you have the final story of what happened between the Terran, Zerg, and the Protoss, which overall was an overwhelming experience. But in the end, I'm going to give StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void a 9 out of 10. The cinematic fills and the sound design that I was offered along with my experience was absolutely amazing. Every time a new mission began, I was just stoked at what was about to happen. Couldn't wait to see how the story was going to unfold and just everything about it. And like I said, there are some sad moments that's going to be heartbreaking for hardcore fans, but overall the experience was great and I had a great time. But for those of you who haven't checked it out, again, check out StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. But until then, I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.